Peeps, Kenny Molotov here at home after a long days of work, and I wanted to talk to you guys about a question I've gotten in the past that I haven't really addressed, but I think it's time to finally have a conversation about it, and that is, what kind of math do you need in plumbing if you're going to be going through your apprenticeship? So first and foremost, I just want to break it to you guys, yes, there is going to be a math element to your apprenticeship. Every time you go back to school, you're going to find that with your coursework, which is plumbing related, you're also probably going to have a section of school which is just going to be math related in itself. So something that you got to know about me is that I can do math, but I'm not proficient in math. I'm not the best mathematician out there by any means, but I do understand the concepts and I do understand how to get to the answers, and for the most part I found the math was very doable for at least me. But what we would do in class was, after the class would finish, we'd sort of band together as buddies, talk about the differences and what we understand with the math, and we'd sort of work out the problems with our peers to figure things out, and that was really useful. So I wanted to be that for you. In other words, if you have nobody to really talk to about math, I wanted to broach this subject at least so that you know what to expect and you know where to go from there. So the first thing that I did was I went back into my schoolwork to look at the math that I was doing so that I can approach you with it and talk to you guys about what's going on. Now keep in mind, I've only been through beginners and intermediate plumbing. I will be going back soon to do advanced plumbing, so that's the math that I won't be able to talk about at this very second, but let's at least talk about what you'll need for intermediate and for beginners plumbing. So a couple of things right off the top of my head that I definitely know that you're gonna need to know how to do. It will be conversions between inches and feet, conversions between millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers, etc. You're gonna need to know how to convert between them. And yes, as many people have indicated in the past, fractions is gonna be a really huge part to being able to do plumbing math. And I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable about fractions, but it's something you're gonna sort of need to understand and need to know how to use in order to answer the questions on those math tests. So I have here the basic trade calculation course outline and the things that we initially learned. And the very first thing that we learned was 45-degree offsets. So in school, in our first year, we essentially learned the math behind how to calculate the 45-degree length between two 45-degree fittings. What a lot of people tend to do is they put a 45, they aim a second 45 where they want to end that length, and then they measure from this 45 to that 45. Well, that's probably how most people do it, but here's when it becomes a little bit more difficult. What if you're doing 6-inch, 8-inch, 12-inch cast iron pipe? It is not so easy to all of a sudden make that measurement. So what you're gonna have to do is essentially sit down and find out the length of that pipe between the two 45s. It's really important math to know, but that's the first thing that I remember, 45-degree offsets. As you continue on, what you're gonna end up noticing is that you're gonna have to do things like area, volume, perimeter. You're gonna have to know the differences between those different measurements. So that's what you're gonna be encountered with in beginners plumbing, at least here in Ontario, because this is pretty up to date. But once you go into intermediate, it gets a little bit more complex, because then you start talking about surface area, perimeter area, and volume. And by the way, this is the surface area of different types of objects. So we're going to be talking about cylinders, you're going to be talking about rectangles, you're going to be talking about prisms and stuff like that. And what I have here is a formula chart that the teacher ended up giving us. And the teachers were really good about this, because what they essentially told us was, look, I'll give you all the formulas, because on the job site, you'll be able to look these formulas up. That's not the whole issue here. What the teacher wants to know is that when you are encountered with a problem, do you know which formulas to go to, and do you know how to go ahead and start solving the problem correctly? So they were good with that. They gave us a formula chart at the beginning of the tests in order for us to be able to go on and then answer the questions that we need to answer. But let's talk about briefly the sort of formulas that they're giving you. So they give you the area of a square, the area of a rectangle, the area of a parallelogram, the area of a trapezoid, the area of a triangle, and then they go into the area of a circle, an area of an ellipse, area of a cube. Then they start talking about volume, which is the volume of a cube, the volume of a prism, the volume of a pyramid, the volume of a sphere, the volume of a cylinder, the volume of an elliptical tank, the volume of a cone. So it does get more and more complex when you start dealing with irregular objects like that, and the questions become a little bit more difficult because of that situation. So the sort of things that we did in intermediate was perimeter, area, and volume, like I already told told you. Conversions from kilometers to meters, from meters to centimeters, from centimeters to millimeters. Doing the volume of cylinders. So here's what I'm going to try to do for you guys so you can get a better handle of whether you're prepared or not for this. I'm going to take some of these questions off the exercise, off of the beginner's course pack that we got. I'm going to put those questions up for you. If you go down in the description below, I'll have a link for you there that if you click on it, you can download the questions and you can start doing the answers for yourself so that you know if you're ready or if you know that you need some help. So that's the basic overview of the sort of math you'll run into, at least in beginners and intermediate plumbing apprenticeship that I went through in Ontario here. So here's a question I wanted to pose to you that has been in the back of my mind for a really long time. Are you at all interested in taking a course on math that will refresh you in area, perimeter, volume, surface area, which will teach you how to convert between millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers? That'll teach you to convert inches to feet, etc. And also we'll get into the plumbing aspects of it, which is calculating 45-degree offsets. Are you interested in that sort of course? Because if you are, I'd be more than happy to sit down and build that course for you guys so you have some sort of resource to go to when you finally are doing your apprenticeship or when you're finally thinking about getting into your apprenticeship. That way, if you run into any problems trying to sort out some math issues, you can go to it and go, oh yeah, that's how you add or subtract or multiply fractions, etc. If that's something that you guys want, let me know in the comments below, because if that's the case, I'll go ahead and I'll start doing that and start building a course for you that's math, but more plumbing specific math. And just a quick disclaimer, if I do this course, I'll probably put it on a website like udemy.com. Udemy is an online website where you can post courses that people can purchase. If I get an overwhelming yes, then that is something I'm going to embark upon, and I'm going to make that course for you guys, because if that's what you want, I'll try to provide that for you. So peeps, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Kenny Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.